Hey everybody, it's time to get live and dirty. And it was supposed to be live earlier, but I'm a newbie in the screencasting game. So I dove into how to screen share on a live. I mean, it is way more technical than I would have even guessed. So that's coming up in the future. But for now, I did 10 minutes of walking and talking through the short-term rental game in Oklahoma City and what that looks like. And so the purpose of this is to be the live, like from scratch, not prescriptive. Like, hey, let's look through how to just pull things out of our brain and out of thin air and put them together to build appropriate expectations of if you're looking at a short-term rental in the Oklahoma City market. You could use the same thing in any market, but you're going to want to adjust for market-specific taxes, insurance, occupancy, nightly rates, things like that. So, and this is in response to one of our beloved clients' questions. So, let's dive in, have fun, know that this is nothing fancy, but it is intended to be useful. And if you have specific follow-up questions, post them in the comments below. And we would love if you subscribed and if you click the alert notification so that you get alerts every time we put out quality content or just quality or funny stuff. We'll see. And we love doing this. Also, if you're a tool nerd, we just started a tool channel called The Toolbox where we do side-by-side reviews. We do tool talk. We do all kinds of things with both physical, literal tools, financial tools, and a number of other leadership-based things that will be useful for our lives. And we love having those in our toolbox. So we thought, let's do it in the typical fun fashion. Be well and enjoy this content. We're going to just take a look at different aspects of this property, 13601 Pinehurst Road here in Oklahoma City, that our beloved client identified as a potential Airbnb as a follow-up of our consultation together. So let's dive in and figure out how to determine different values. And I'm also going to share in this a system that Craftsman Real Estate Services has developed for our management clients here in Oklahoma City for short-term rentals. So let's jump in. Pardon the roller coaster here that we're going to have trying to find screens. But first thing is we're going to look at this on the MLS. And just so you know, this is pending right now. It went pending yesterday. So this actually is not a potential filled property at this point unless it comes out of contract. But what I would draw your attention to here is let's just quickly take a look at this home. So decent landscaping, cute brick, actually it's stone, but cute from the exterior. You got some foundation stuff going on in this front porch slab, but that's not uncommon. And then inside, it's going to be a mixed bag, but from what you can see from the photos, like this place is just, it's right. It's right for the things that Airbnb and Vrbo reward you for, which is photo worthiness. And so even the way that they have it staged right here is particularly good. You can do a lot with this space, and it's got a lot of angles that are going to play really well. It is a lot of space, so you got to have a larger amount of furniture to fill it, but some things like this, like really they shouldn't have done this, everything about this kitchen. Like it's original cabinetry, and it's like the flat face cabinetry, which is always a cheap move, but it's also they've got the backsplash and a back lip. So, ideally you want to buy a house that's either already ready or that you can get at a price that will allow you to force some value, like all new kitchen cabinets, or at very least pull the backsplash off, pull the countertops off, and do new counters, proper backsplash, and new stove. But the other rooms of the house are super cute. Sorry, that's tickle in my throat. Okay, so this house, what to love about it? Number one, it's in it's at a good spot. So the location in the city is right here, and this right here is a massive hospital. And across here are some clinics, and then down here are massive hospital. Like, it's just all hospitals up here. And it's a good place to live. And even if you weren't coming to stay in a hospital or to do something hospital related, which you can see from being so close to Memorial, which is this road right here, and the Kilpatrick Turnpike, and 74, or Hefner Parkway locally, is you can be anywhere in the city in a decent amount of time. So this is a place you want to own. This is the kind of house that you want to own. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,700-ish square feet. So it checks the boxes there. But how do we know what to expect with with short-term rental, which we're going to call Airbnb? I don't want to keep stopping myself. Airbnb means short-term rental. So you might choose to expose it to various different websites. You might not. But let's look at this. This is AirDNA, and you specifically want to visit AirDNA's Airbnb calculator. It's usually kind of free. They really don't want it to be free. It's a funnel. It's the top end of their funnel. They want you to pay for their service, and it's expensive for our market. So let's say a 3-bed, 2-bath, you're going to have probably a king or a queen in one bedroom. You're going to have a queen in the second bedroom, and then you're going to have bunks in the third bedroom. So you're going to sleep 6. So we're going to say it's sleep 6. Here's the location, and we're going to click Analyze Your Property. We'll post a link to this in the description below. All right. We'll see if we can access it when we log in. All right. Yeah. So you gotta check their data. Gotta make sure it's good. All right. So we're looking. What does it say? The average daily rate is $232. Occupancy 52%, and you really, really want to check AirDNA's data up and against people that know what they're doing locally, because I've had AirDNA say that a 2-bedroom home could fetch $190 a night that absolutely can't fetch $190 a night. It also, told me one client's house would be occupied 60% of the time, and it's been occupied 78% of the time. So they're not perfect, but it's a good sampling and forecast tool. And I would say, we're going to discount this daily rate a little bit, but the occupancy rate is spot on. Your daily rate, we're gonna factor in 215 as your daily rate, and because you're going at a slight discount, we're going to bump that up to 57%. So $215 a night, and you're going to push that out for 365 nights, and you're going to discount that to 57, so 0.57 is an annual revenue of slightly more than this, $44,730. So $44,730. So if you want to click any of these other ones, then you're gonna need to subscribe to that. But let's just look at some numbers here, and I'm going to show you. We're not going to talk about setup costs. That's a totally different video, and there are some great operators talking about that. But in general, what you need to know is that every time a guest leaves, you're going to have costs associated with that guest leaving in order to make it ready for the next guest. And one of the things that we do in our personal short-term rentals that we operate and the ones we operate for clients is we stock toiletry sets in every bathroom with high-quality soaps and things like that. And then we also do a small bag of coffee from a local coffee shop, a handwritten note, things like that to welcome the guests. But every single time we're having to make the bedrooms ready, we're having to clean, and then we're having to make beds, things like that. So one of the things that we've begun to do in our management, which is largely for our own benefit and passing along some blessings and savings to other people, is to look at what happens when you so all the beds, for example. So every time, let's get to a bedroom. Every time the guest leaves, you need this bed to be fresh, white, and amazing. So in order to do that, you're going to have to figure out specific bedding that is prone to wash well and that you can actually wash in a machine. So you want to do a duvet with an insert instead of a comforter that you have to take to a dry cleaner to wash, or that takes an entire load itself to wash. So you need to be smart about the specific bedding that you use and your sheets under it. They need to be white. They need to be soft enough, tough enough, whatever, but they need to be white and clean, because the reason that hotels use white and the reason you might want to use white is because you can bleach it, and bleach makes it pop, it makes it white, and it communicates to people. It has come to communicate class, but it really communicates, and from the very beginning has communicated clean. You can very easily tell if something that's white is clean. So we typically use white bedding, white comforters, white towels, all those things. They are very easy to clean and get really clean because you can bleach them, but bleach also wears on them more. But the real problem that we're trying to wrap our minds around is what happens when you've got, like this house, for example. In order to sleep 6, you can't put 6 towel sets there. You shouldn't put 8. You should probably put 10 or maybe 12. But here's the deal. How many towel sets do people use? Yep. All of them. People typically use however many towel sets there are. So we are developing a system, and we're going to look at a 10-person, 10 guests. So we're developing a system where things like this that are considered expirables is what we'll call it. Like they're things like the sheets, the towels, and we can build this out to be a lot of other things. But towels and sheets, that they expire after a certain number of usage. And for example, if you had 10 guests check in, then you would need at least 15 sets of towels. And then if you can't turn it in 3 to 5 hours, if you can't go from guest checkout to the next guest checking in, then you have lost a night of revenue for every single turn. And so to give you a sense, in the summers, like in the month of June, our properties turned 4 to 6 times. Like 4 to 6 times in June, another 6 to 8 in July. And so that rhythm is different during the rest of the year, but in the summer months, are you going to lose 4 to 8 nights of every month because your sheets can't fit in your washer and dryer? Because if you can't turn it, if you have 10 guests and you have 15 towel sets and king sheets, 3 full beds, so this is what this particular house would have, and that's what you have to wash every time, that's going to take you 5 or more loads. And then you're going to need to have extras on site. And so you get into this logistics issue where now you're having to tailor your washer and dryer to be able to facilitate the washing. And you need to be doubly sure, that you are not bleaching these things in the washer that your guests will come in and use, and then you accidentally discolored their clothes. So what we started doing is we're standardizing our towels, our bath towels, our hand towels, our kitchen towels, our makeup towels, and our bedding, so that it is optimized for our turnovers, optimized for guest experience, and we can wash them at a centralized location off-site. And because we are standardizing it across all of the ones that we manage, we're able to launder those in a central location. And if they're worn out, we just cycle it out and send a unworn out inspected piece with the cleaning crew, and they put it in. And so let's look at this example of, this is a 3-bedroom home that was a 4-bedroom, that was going to sleep 10 guests. So every time we turn, we're going to stock an appropriate number of towels, which in this one is 16 towel sets. And so that is 10, one for each guest, plus an extra. Not 2 extra, because we know that people are going to use basically everything that's there. So they will be strategically stocked so that if the guest needs it, they have enough. And then we're also going to put king sheets on the bed, and we're going to replace the bedding on 3 full beds. And then there are 2 bathrooms in this house. So each bathroom gets a toiletry set and 2 makeup towels. The makeup towels are labeled for makeup. They are designed for makeup. They're not going to ruin your bright white towels. It actually doesn't matter what color towel, if it's not black or if it's not specifically designated for makeup, it's going to ruin something. So we're going to set this up. And then this, for your expirables and the toiletry sets and those things, comes out to $112 per turn. And then cleaning for this home was $95. And this is a company we contract with that does the cleanings and make-readies. And so they take these items from our centralized location and they take the right number to the right home every time. And they're clean and they're fresh and they're new. And because of these numbers, you're not actually buying these things. You're not having to figure out if your laundry is sizable enough to clean them. You're not having to coordinate extra time. You're not losing those days of downtime. You're not doing any of that because these are things we keep in inventory, we launder, and we put on site every time. So you reduce upfront costs and you have a system that is keeping these things clean and replenishing them when they need to be replenished, which means if we've got rips in the king sheet, we go buy new ones from our standardized place that we purchase them, and we put that into rotation, and you're not having to deal with this outside of it. And so this is what we do to be a benefit to our own operations, because in several of our units we've got small washers and dryers, and in a few we have spaces that are small, and we don't have the ability to push those into different spaces without it being exceedingly complicated and driving up labor time and then losing revenue from not having those back-to-back bookings. All right, let's jump over to our analysis. Okay, so here we go. So in this one, we took this house and then we said total monthly income. All right, now let's take the number we calculated earlier, 44,000. Can we get a calculator? Yeah, 44,730 divided by 12. So 3727. Nice. Okay. 3727. Let's subtract out times 0.9. So you're going to keep 90%, and then let's say that at an average nightly rate, that's $208 per night. Hold on, it's 208 nights. Okay, so it's assuming 208 nights. Sorry, that's what I wanted to figure out. And your average guest at this home is going to stay 5 nights. So that's 41 turns. So 41 turns. I'm doing this on another calculator. We're going to discount this calculation because it's scaled. Let me do this real quick. We're going to discount this 0.8 to 80%, and then this is actually a known thing, 79. So per turn, we're looking at 168 times 168, 86. All right, so that's going to subtract out 2,000. All right, here we go. So $215 per night, 57% occupancy equals, boom, times 365 times, equals, times, and that's 7,000. So equals this divided by this is assuming 208 nights. 5 average nights, 41 turns equals times cost of turns. Okay, so we're taking this minus this minus this is your net income. Divided by 12, net monthly income. All right, let's see how our calculator did. 29.11. So I would recommend knocking that down a little bit. And there, obviously the cost per turn is incurred on turns. So if you have a longer average, which you might, especially if you're targeting areas that have stickier guests, like hospital rotations and things like that. So you can definitely reduce that. Here's where I want to focus a lot. I own a house in this very neighborhood, and so this is what I would tell you. Your water and sewage, gas and electric. So gas, electric. So here you've got 75, 75, and 50 averages 200. I would roll that up to 300. So 300, because your water and sewer is almost always going, and that includes garbage as well. Garbage and recycling are both through the city of Oklahoma City, and so this is usually going to be between $50 and $90. So you can round that up. Electricity is going to be, depending on the way that this particular house is broken down between heat sources and things like that, you're probably going to average 275 to 300. Also, I would take the vacancy assumptions out of here because you've already accounted for vacancy, CapEx, maybe bump that up to 120 a month just to give you, good sprucing up budget. Insurance, $2,400 a year. Yeah, that sounds right. Lodging tax. So Airbnb will collect this automatically. So from your net, you wouldn't necessarily need to factor that in. And then maintenance, if you just combine these two, CapEx and that's fine. Management, yeah, you calculated it at 10%, and then property taxes. So what you can do is the Oklahoma County tax rate is this. So if you go to say $215,000 purchase price, you're gonna be assessed at 1.12%. So $2,400 a year. It's $200 a month. Let's see how you did. Yeah, I'd bump that up to $200 a month. Typically, insurance and taxes track really well. So, all right, man. I think if you make those adjustments, your monthly income is going to come down a little bit, but I think you will find the results are pretty close to what you predicted. And I hope this is a useful thing to process through and to see live.